Hello and welcome to this very special Silver Linings class. My name is Chrissy and I'm the founder and director of Silver Linings Wellbeing. Today you join me for a beautiful 60-minute self-love yoga practice. That's right, we're going to be soothing those tired muscles, bringing you back to center, hopefully leaving you feeling calm and fabulous. So if you're just starting out on your yogic journey, don't worry, I'm going to be offering you lots of modifications, and you always have that option to slow things down and take a break when you need it. If you're further along in that yogic journey, then there'll be plenty of opportunities to deepen the postures, deepen your sensations, and as I say, hopefully you'll also be left feeling fabulous and centered. All you need for the session today is a towel or a mat on the floor. You could also grab a folded towel or cushion to assist with some of our deeper stretches. And as you come to the center of your space, please just make sure that you can see me when you're standing, kneeling, and indeed lying down, so that you can enjoy our session to the max. So we're going to start there on the floor, lying down, finding our center. I suggest you roll out that mat and maybe light a candle, maybe light some incense. Find that quiet spot. And when you're ready, rolling all the way down, bone by bone into the mat. Go ahead and find center, and that might mean a little adjustment of the pelvis and just checking that you're not poking the chin or tucking it too much. Once the feet are grounded and parallel, just draw the knees together to touch so they're steepled in what's called a rest pose, a constructive rest pose, so they feel at ease. And from there, just bringing one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart, let the elbows rest heavy into the mat. And we'll start to focus in on our breath, bringing ourselves to a calmer place, arriving on the mat, ready to practice. So start by drawing a deep breath in through the nose, really smooth breath. Feel the belly and the heart rise, the chest rise, the lungs fill. And then let's make it an audible sigh. As you let every little drop of air come out of the body. We'll do that a couple more times. So it's a deep breath in through the nose. You can visualize a silken thread drawing in. The belly and chest will rise and fill with lovely air. And then just breathe and sigh away any stress or strain, anything that may have happened before you found this quiet spot. Just let it go. Once more, we'll inhale deeply, filling the lungs, swelling the belly, swelling the chest, bringing in that life-giving oxygen. And again, you can make it an sound as you release to the mat. Continue now to breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Or you can bring it now to that Ujjayi breath, that yogic breath that draws in through the nose and out through the nose, that smooth, silken breath. You can keep the eyes closed, just gently connect mind to body. Feel that calming breath already calming the mind and bringing you to a more centered place. We're going to start with some very gentle spinal twists and a little hug. So bring the knees apart, keeping the feet hip socket width apart. And now draw the arms across each other and draw the hands around the shoulders, giving yourself a deep hug. Inhale in your hug, and as you exhale, reach the arms out to a T shape. Palms are down, you rock the knees to the left and you roll the nose to the right, feeling a lovely twist through the spine. Just gently lift your abdominals in and up, supporting the lower back. As the knees draw to center, we take another little hug, inhaling deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, bring the arms back out to your T shape, knees to the right, nose to the left, a gorgeous spinal twist, nice and gentle to start out. Inhale through center, giving yourself that lovely hug, drawing in the love, good. And exhale away any negative thoughts, anything that doesn't serve you. Reaching your nose in one direction, perhaps rocking the knees just a fraction deeper this time. Inhaling back to your center, a little hug. Beautiful shrug of the shoulders down as you reach the arms wide and in line. Knees rocking across to the right, nose to the left. Let's do that one more time. And as you inhale, draw an even deeper, longer, smoother breath in. And as you exhale, see if you want to go just a touch deeper this time, twisting into the lower and middle back, preparing ourselves for class, preparing ourselves for our practice. Final hug. And release wide with the twist. Beautiful. From there, drawing the knees back to your center, draw them one by one into the chest. Wrap the hands on top of the shin bones, but if your knees are sensitive, always modify by holding underneath. And from there, we'll just rock the knees, exhaling into the chest. Inhale, lengthen tailbone long. Elbows float wide, shoulders down and into the mat as you hug. Inhale, rock the tailbone, extend the arms fully. Exhale, last time, really a deep hug, all the air out. And inhale, feel that spine elongate into the mat. From there, we'll reach the arms and legs to the sky. This really doesn't have to look like anything. And just start to circle out the wrists and the ankles, giving a little love to the extremities. Again, in preparation for our more flowing section of class. Reverse your circles and notice for yourself if there's any clicking, any resistance in one direction or another, and just work into that little tightness. Those little clicks are perfectly normal. And then give it a little shake. This is my favorite non-classical, non-yogic exercise. We call it the cockroach. And it just helps to release all those little intrinsic muscles. Good, and from here, just hug the knees back in. This time, everybody hands behind the knees, and we'll take a few rocks of the spine. So rocking all the way up to seated, and then rocking back, legs can flow overhead. This really doesn't have to look like anything. It's all about giving that spine a little love as you rock forward and back. Imagine the spine like a big wheel. If at the moment you feel like a bit of a square wheel, just ease again into those little corners that feel tight. We'll take one more, but feel free to take as many as you need. And we all meet at the top. Coming now into our 4-point kneeling position. So crossing at the ankles or swinging the legs around. We'll bring those wrists under the shoulders, and it's really important right from the beginning of your practice to really spread the fingers and almost feel sucker-like, that they're really connecting all 5 fingers of each hand into the floor. Wrists are directly underneath your shoulders and knees are directly underneath the hips. Finding now a neutral long spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And we'll take a couple of cat and cow. So exhaling into that curve of the spine like an angry cat, gaze to your abdominals. And then rippling, the tailbone lifts and the chest and the heart space of the gaze. Exhale, hollowing the abdominals, so feeling a little lift, a little activity, a little tone in the abdominals. And then this is a lovely release for the lower back. Try not to completely release the abdominals. You want to support the lower back. One more time, and feel free to move in any way that feels good to you right here. In that cat, maybe you're taking a little twist, a little rock of the head. And again, as you come to your cow, ease in, find your body, connect into it. Beautiful. From here, finding again that neutral spine, we're going to start to just find a little more tone in those abdominals. So hooking the toes under, hover your knees 1 inch off the floor and find stillness and breath here for 3. Micro bending at the elbow, but keeping those knees just 1 inch off for 2. Hollowing and deepening Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. These are your abdominal cues in yoga. Then send the knees wide, release the toes, and go ahead and sit back to your child pose. And know that any time in your practice today with me, you are always able to choose to come to child. Choose to come to that place of safety and quiet rest if you need it. Let's do that 2 more times. So wrist under shoulders, reset knees under hips. Hooking the toes under, lengthening from crown of head to tailbone, hover the knees, breathe deeply here, toning the thighs, lifting the abs, finding length through your spine, pushing the floor away without locking the elbows. That's 2, that's 1. Knees rest wise, toes go long, maybe padding the hands a little further. Option here to spider finger and rest into the space. You'll get a little more stretch under the arms and into the shoulder girdle. Should feel really nice. Beautiful. Last time, guys. Hooking those toes under, knees or under hips, wrists under shoulders, pushing gently into the floor to lift the knees, hovering there, finding that suspension, breathing deeply, finding your strength. Good, lovely control. And from here, this time, taking the knees wide, toes together to touch. And let's flip the palms and take the hands just a touch wider than your mat. Again, you're resting the head into the mat. Rest heavy, and here's a little release for the shoulders. You can again just wiggle, move, shift as you need, and we're coming now into our first downward dog of our practice. So wrists under shoulders again, hook those toes, and slowly, gently extend the legs, push the chest backwards, extend the arms without locking them. And for this first one, it's always available to move, to ease in. Find your loving downward facing dog. Moving perhaps the head, shifting one heel high and then the other, easing in. And then slowly we're going to come to a place of stillness. So once you've moved and eased, try now resting both heels towards but not necessarily touching the floor. I would also recommend micro bending at the knees and just check. Are your hands parallel, index finger pointing forward and heels and little toes in line? So you're absolutely parallel. That micro bend of the knees might allow you to shift your sit bones to the sky a touch more and push your chest back without flaring the ribs or losing that abdominal tone. Good, and as you breathe in deeply here, imagine breathing in love and breathing out love through the nose. If you have it in your practice, you're now starting to utilize that Ujjayi or victorious breath that sounds like an ocean wave. Let's take one more breath here, guys, and then we're going to start to walk forward, taking the left foot across and in front of the right, padding slowly, crisscrossing, zigzagging, mindfully stepping through and stretching the fascia under the foot until we find our feet right behind the wrists in, again, a parallel position. Bend the knees if you can and just utilize the weight into the balls of the feet to give you that deeper hamstring stretch. And feel free here to nod the head a little, shake the head a little, and just ease into this forward fold, which is such a restorative place to be. It brings us into a calmer state right away, and we get this beautiful stretch for the whole back chain of the body. From here, option is to grab the opposite elbow with the hand. The head is heavy, and you just start to shift right to left, gently swinging the elbows right to left, feeling that length through one hamstring and then the other increasing, feeling gravity pull the neck long. It's like traction. Good. Lovingly moving, and then slowly bringing that again to stillness in the center. You can release the hands and head, stay heavy. From here, micro bend a little more, tone the abdominals, and I want you to picture each of your vertebrae as you roll up smoothly, heavy head and hands. Picture each vertebra like a precious pearl. Thread or stack each precious pearl, one on top of the other, on top of the other, each as important as the last. And as you come towards the top, the shoulders gently falling down the back, the collarbones widen, the gaze lifts. Beautiful, and take a little shrug of the shoulders up and all the way down the back. Good, so we're coming into our Tadasana, bringing feet, legs hugging together, knees lifting, and then maybe flipping those palms forward for a moment. And I want you to feel each part of the foot grounding into the floor, and also that sense of grounding and lifting from your roots all the way up for the crown of the head. From here, we'll take a lovely breath in. Draw the arms up as though you were taking a hold of a beach ball or hugging the sun. And with that gorgeous sunshine feel, reaching across to the left, feeling a stretch through the right side body, breathing into that side body. Inhale your way back to your center, keeping those abdominals lightly toned. We exhale, grow taller and reach across to the right side. Remember, the shoulders are melting down the back. Nice. Inhale, coming through your center. Exhale across once more to the left. Feeling that radiating stretch from little finger, maybe all the way down to the side of the ankle. Drawing tall. Exhale your way over to the right. Really feel the length through the left side. Beautiful breath into those ribs and lungs. Inhale to your center. And as you exhale, bring the palms to touch. Gently glide the palms together past your third eye and bring them all the way to rest at heart center. Feel that loving, glowing energy. Focus on that now as we move into our sun salutations. I will take the first little cycle of it at a very modified pace. If you are just starting out on your yogic journey, that is exactly how you will do it for the remaining series of sun salutations. So take it at your own pace. Breathing in, draw the arms wide to the side, gaze and chest go high, palms come to touch. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Bend the knees as much as you need. Bring the hands to the floor and the forehead towards your shin bones. Inhale, lengthen your spine and gaze forward, maybe reaching up onto the fingertips, or if you need to come a bit higher, hands slide up just beneath the knee onto the shin bone. Inhale, place the hands back down, bend your knees, step one leg back to a plank. Step the other leg back, find your plank pose. Really tone the abdominals and the glutes here. Modified chaturanga, the knees come down. You bend your elbows towards your ribs and you bring your chest and chin to the floor. Then you push gently forward and you roll the shoulders back as you lift into a very small cobra. From here, shifting back into a child pose. You could always stay here if you need a break anytime. Otherwise, you're hooking the toes under, pushing tailbone to sky, heels towards the mat, into your downward facing dog for a good couple of deep breaths. So inhaling deeply, exhaling the air out. Keep a micro bend in the knees and tilt the pelvis up and back. Good. As you push the chest down towards the mat, open the collarbones wide and draw the shoulders down and around. Remember that micro bend in your elbows. We're breathing deeply for another 2 gorgeous, loving breaths. Inhaling deeply. Exhale the air out. And as the air leaves the body this time, lift the heels high, bend the knees and bring your gaze forward. Now, we're going to take a big step forward. It might be a couple of steps, that's okay. And then bring the other foot to join it. Gently lift again. It might be onto the fingertips or onto the shins. Forward fold. Inhale, float the arms wide, gaze and chest lift, palms come together. And we come back to heart center. So we've got about 3 more like that. I'm going to take it at a slightly more flowing pace, but you take it at your own pace. Remember, this is your session. So inhale, lift the arms, gaze, chest high. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale to the fingertips or hands to the shin bones. Exhale, hands to floor, step back to your plank. Either knees come down, chin and chest rest, or full chaturanga. Here we're coming into a smaller or maybe a bigger cobra now, opening chest and gaze. Exhale back to your child pose and hook the toes, and then lengthen into your downward facing dog. Beautiful breath here. Check that everything is parallel, little toes in line with heels, that sense of length through the spine. Inhaling smoothly. If it's starting to become a little ragged, if this is starting to feel like work, you always have the option to come down to that child pose. These are good choices. Make good choices, yogis. Good. We've got 2 more breaths here. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling smoothly. Last time, lifting the heels high, bending knees, gaze, chest forward, stepping forward, one and then the other foot. Maybe it's a couple of steps, that's okay. Lifting onto fingertips or maybe hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching wide through the arms, gaze and chest, palms come together. And exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands to floor. Inhale, rising gaze and chest forward, and then either stepping or jumping back to your plank posture. Full chaturanga if it's available. Elbows brush ribs. Inhale, small cobra, bigger cobra, or full upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. If you need to come down to child, you do. Breathe it deeply here. Long, loving exhalation. Bringing love into your heart with every breath. Giving out love and gratitude as we go. Gratitude for our bodies moving and feeling our way to a more calm and centered place. 2 more breaths, inhaling smoothly. Exhale, maybe tilt that pelvis just a touch more, pulling those abdominals deeply. Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, these are your big locks, those abdominal cues. Last breath, we're going to lift the heels, and this time either stepping or lightly jumping to the front of your mat. Lift to fingertips or maybe hands to shin bones. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, float arms wide, palms reach together, gaze and chest go high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last flow, guys. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to fingertips or top of shin. Exhale, step or jumping back to your plank chaturanga or knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, shoot forward, small cobra, big up dog, your call. Exhale, downward dog. Find your breath or rest to child for 5 more breaths. Beautiful energy starting to run around the body, what we call prana, that sense of the energetic connection, mind, body and soul is what yoga is all about. Breathe into those challenges, find the strength, be your own best teacher right now. If you need a break, you take it. If you're able to stay, you deepen. And then everybody meets at the front, so we bend the knees, stepping or lightly jumping forward, lift to the fingertips or front of shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. Take a moment there just to rest and pause. Feel again that center. Feel that beautiful energy that you're starting to build. So we're going to come into a little chain now. We're going to keep building on that little chain for a couple of flows. So just go with it. Inhale, lifting tall, gaze chest high. Exhale, forward fold, the familiar vinyasa now. Inhale, lengthen to fingertips. Exhale, hands down, step or jump to that plank. Chin, chest and knees can come down however you want. Taking that small cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And I'm going to shift sides so you guys have all the visuals. We're going to lengthen that right foot, lovingly place it between your hands. If that takes a couple of shifts, no worries at all. Go ahead and lower the back knee and release the toes long. From there, cultivate that lift in the abdominals and draw your hands to heart center. Lifting a little, tuck under, and then see if you can push forward. Always ensuring this front knee is above your ankle. If you need to pad the back knee, always do so. From here, we cross the thumbs, shooting those arms up, gaze and chest either forward or maybe rising that chest and gaze up to the sky. Always finding a smile if you can. Pushing forward and lifting the abdominals so we're not compacting that lower back. Good. Nice. Breathe into the stretch. Pushing forward, gently finding front of thigh stretch. Gentle chest opening and heart opening. From here, you're going to dive the hands onto the inside of that right foot and then heel toe the foot across to the outside of your mat. Coming into our lizard pose here. So your hips are pushing forward and then we're going to circle around. I love this, giving a little love to those hips. Easing into any tension. Making sure you're spreading out the fingers. If the wrists are feeling too much, you can always make a fist or you can go to that deeper lizard posture, which might be available for some of you. Find then a point where you can just ease forward and then raise the chest again, raise the gaze. And for those of you who wish to go deeper, we sweep the right arm up. See if you can catch your left foot, squeezing that heel in towards the seat, making sure you're rocking forward onto the fleshy part of the knee. And then maybe from that point of the thigh stretch, open chest and twist the gaze to the sky. So it's a really active way to stretch the front of the thigh and equally open that right hip. Couple of breaths here, guys. Good. And then when you're ready, releasing the foot, if you had that hold, go ahead and place the hands directly under your shoulders. Send that left leg long and then reach the right foot back. You're back into your vinyasa. So you can either bring the knees to the floor or full chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and we'll go to our second side with that little chain. So left foot this time, stepping lovingly forward. If that took a couple of steps, please do not worry. Go ahead and rest your right knee down, send the toes long, recruit the abdominals, and as you come up, bring the hands to prayer at heart center. Roll the shoulders, and again, a little tuck of the pelvis as we lift those abdominals. From here, push forward into the deeper stretch. Just check that knee alignment directly over ankle, and then cross the thumbs, shooting those arms up, hugging biceps to ears, and then maybe lifting a little higher, opening the heart center, opening your chest as you push the hips forward, exploring your stretch today, lovingly pressing those hips into a deeper opening. Breath is smooth. Good. And then when you're ready, bring the hands to the inside of the left foot. This time it's the left foot. Just heel toe it out to the edge of your mat. And we're pushing the hips forward and then circling from that deep stretch point. It's such a lovely gift to your hips, a little TLC. Often if you sit for hours at a desk, or perhaps you've been doing a lot of training, this is just such a great way to release the hip flexors in the front of thigh. And then you can press forward and just find a little stillness, opening collarbones, lifting the gaze. If you took that deeper stretch the first side, come along with me as we reach the left arm up and overhead. See if you can catch the toes behind you, pressing the heel towards your seat. Make sure you're really on that fleshy top of the right knee. And then go ahead and layer in the twist if that feels available, which means the chest is rotating to the sky, the gaze is lifting. Good. Breathing wherever you are. Couple more breaths. Beautiful. Smooth, soothing breaths. As you release the back foot, bring the hands directly under the shoulders, hook that right toe underneath, and then send the left leg long as well. Either knees come down or chest comes down in that chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, either come to your child, take a second, or go ahead and join me straight away in that downward facing dog. So we're coming into the second of our little chains now, adding on as we move through. So from your downward facing dog, see if you can draw the feet a little closer. Send your right leg with a flexed foot up towards the sky. It may not go very high because you're absolutely aiming to square hips towards the floor. Then draw the leg forward and see if you can lovingly place that foot flat. This time we stay in a high lunge. So right away, extend your back leg, recruit those abdominals, and lift up to find your balance in that beautiful high lunge. Right away, tucking and pressing deeper as you shoot the arms to the sky, crossing the thumbs. Maybe gaze stays forward to help your balance. But if your balance is feeling good and you've got a little more here, see if you can open the chest. Gorgeous back leg long, high back heel, energized through the glutes. One more breath. See if you can sink a little deeper. Maybe you widen your stance. Good. Once more, finding strength here. You guys are strong. Good. Stay with the breath. And then we're widening and rotating out to our warrior two. So, running through the technique, you want to draw that back foot to a 45-degree angle, really anchoring through the outside, the little toe side of your foot. Front leg is aiming for 90 degrees, arms are pressing long, and your gaze is over that front middle finger. Again here, lengthening through the side body and drawing the ribs in. From here, finding that strong, heroic posture. Good. Let's draw the front leg up and long and draw the arms up. Capture sunshine. Gaze goes high. And then as you exhale, flip the palms down, press the knee forward, deep bend coming back to your warrior. We'll do that 2 more times, and you're probably starting to feel a little heat building here. That's intentional. Embrace that challenge. Know how strong you are. That strength will permeate every little part of your life, from your yoga practice to normal life, as it were, outside of the mat, off of the mat. Press out into your warrior. Beautiful. Hold it there. Find your stillness again. Maybe close the eyes, or maybe just keep that drishti point. And then we windmill the back arm up and around, coming and stepping back into your beautiful strong plank. Knees can come down, or chest and chin rock forward and up into your cobra. Full up dog is an option. You can always come to child for a moment, or straight to your downward facing dog. We're into our second side. So step the feet in together. Really ground through the hands and the heels. And then this time it's that left leg slicing up. Make it as long and strong as you can, keeping the hips square to your mat beneath you. The knee is going to draw in towards your nose, and lovingly you place that left foot forward. Again, if that took a couple of steps, don't worry. Keep that back leg long and strong. Find those abdominals and draw your hands to heart center. Maybe take a little rock of those shoulders and a little tuck of the abdominals as you draw the arms up, cross the thumbs and sink a little deeper, raising your gaze, drawing shoulders down and back, lengthening up with the gaze and the chest bone, the heart opening up. Beautiful. Nice breath here. Nice sinking deeper perhaps, finding and exploring your posture. One more time, and then we're opening into our warrior 2. So the back heel is going to ground. 45 degrees is the ideal, and you're pressing that left knee forward to a right angle. Remember, the hips are open to the side, and the gaze is across that middle finger. Really activate the back by pressing the air down, and from here we move. Lengthen the front leg, draw the arms up, capture that sunshine, and then draw the arms down. Active, strong warriors. Yes, you are. In every aspect of your life, I am sure. Let's draw it right up. Lift your kneecap, lift the thighs, and then really sink it deep. Nice. Let's do that one more time. Find and capture that positive spirit. Feel the light, and then press it all the way down. Nice. We'll stay here for just one more breath, finding again that strength and stillness. Fight the urge to fiddle and move. Really enjoy that sense of length. And then we windmill the back arm, setting that back leg long now into your plank. Remember, you can take the modification or a full chaturanga, either a little cobra or maybe that full upward facing dog. Come to child if you need it, or downward facing dog. Take a second there. And then we're going to lift the heels, and everybody meets down in that child. Now you can either stay here in your child, that's a beautiful place to stay, take a break. Otherwise we're coming into a little preparation for our camel pose. If your knees are sensitive, please fold your mat over twice or grab a handy towel or cushion just to support the knees. Your knees are going to be 2 fists apart, and then we go ahead and bring the hands behind you so the fingertips are pointing down, the elbows wrap in towards each other like you're hugging a balloon. Push the hips forward, tone the belly, tone the glutes. And then from there, we lift the chest, lift the gaze, and lengthen. So rather than a collapse, think of it as an upward trajectory, an arc, an opening, particularly for that heart. Hugging the elbows in will give you that shoulder opening. Try not to let the head just rock back. That's not actually serving you right here. It's almost like I have my hands there holding your skull, supporting you. Imagine that. Good. Couple more breaths. If you're still in your child, rest there, no problem. And then together we bring ourselves back up and we meet in our child. Take a second, take a breath. A little love, a little care, maybe a little wiggle. And from there, we'll hook the toes and bring ourselves back into our downward facing dog. So adding on to our little chain now, draw the feet together. Lengthen that right leg, slice it up to the sky. Maybe this time you could lift the supporting heel coming into that 3-legged dog. Draw the knees. See if you can kiss your knee to your nose, just for a moment. And then place that foot down lovingly. From here, we draw the hands all the way up this time, directly to the sky, crossing thumbs, lifting chest, but driving shoulders down and away. Active back leg, deep abdominal lift, deep breaths to support you. Beautiful postures, sinking deeper. And then opening out, finding your warrior. Good, finding that reach. This time we're just going to hold here for a moment. And I want you to think of wrapping that front knee back, actively pushing as though I was pressing there with my hand, and then pressing down again onto, like you're pressing down on water or something. Beautiful. Couple more breaths, finding your stillness, finding that inner strength. It will serve you well. And from here, we're coming into our goddess pose. So rotate your left heel around, and maybe bring the legs a little closer in if you had a very large or long posture for your warrior. Your knees are wrapping backwards and over your middle toes. We're going to bring one hand to the belly, lovely lifted spine, and one hand to the heart. Options are to keep a low gaze or to close your eyes completely, testing your balance a little. Yeah, good. Inhaling deeply. Sinking a little deeper in your goddess pose, and I know you are all goddesses right now. Any gentleman watching, you are a hero. Good, one more breath in. And then we rotate that back heel back to that 45-degree angle. Find your gorgeous warrior, reset if you need to, and then windmilling that back arm around, spin it around. Bring the hands to frame the foot, either bringing the knees down or full chaturanga, hugging elbows to ribs. Lift and really drive those collarbones open as you lift up. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Straight away coming into our second side. So feet and knees come together, inner thighs are hugging. Left leg slices up with an energetic heel reaching away on the high diagonal. Maybe this time add that lift of the supporting heel, and then from there your knee drives in towards your nose. Hug it in just for a moment, and then lovingly place that foot forward. Right away we draw the palms to touch, fold the thumbs around each other, lift into that high, beautiful, buoyant lunge, maybe increasing that sense of length, and chest and gaze can go high. Could you sink a little deeper as you breathe in, and exhale, could you reach a little further? Energizing the back leg, energizing the glutes. One more breath. And then as you rotate into your wide, lovely warrior, make sure that back heel is grounding, little toe side. Make sure this front knee is now wrapping backwards. Again, imagine my hand is on the outside of your left knee. Push against your own invisible Chrissy, and then press the air down as you reach the gaze over the middle fingers. Remember, we're finding our stillness here. This time, maybe close the eyes. Such a wonderful way to connect mind to body. Really making sure that you're lengthening that side body and opening the hips, remember, as you deepen. From here, we rotate the right foot this time. Maybe you heel toe in just a touch, finding that lovely goddess pose. So knees are now both wrapping back. Toes are probably to the corners of your space. And I invite you to bring the hand back to the belly, one hand to heart. Maybe keep a low gaze as you sink a touch lower. Roll the shoulders, breathe it out. Gorgeous goddesses. Wherever you are at home, take a moment here to appreciate yourself. Give gratitude for this body. Beautiful, beautiful bodies. Get one, you need to take care of them. Let's rotate that back heel back out again. Find your warrior, find that posture, and then windmill the back arm. Find that front foot and frame it. Step the leg back. By all means, bring the knees down or take that full vinyasa, inhaling to your upward facing dog. Exhale, Mukha Adho Svanasana. You're going to find that downward facing dog. Beautiful. And everybody raise the heels. Bring the heels together and rest down into your child. Again, I invite you, if you wish to stay right here. Just take a couple of breaths. If you wish to go deeper, we're going to take that camel posture. You can take that modified posture here with the hands in the small of the back. If you're ready to go a little deeper, will keep the full expression of the posture. So the hands, 2 hands distances apart with the knees. This time, if you're going deeper, you're hooking the toes under. Bring the hands around and reach towards the heels and just sit back for a minute. Take a second to tuck the pelvis, push the hips forward, and from that supported place, then lift the chest and open the gaze to the sky. So it's rather different than taking it straight back. That can feel very compressing on the lower back. And if that's an area of concern for you, this is a great way in. Making it accessible, giving love to your lower back. And remember the head resting on that cloud, that pillow behind you. Couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, bring one hand and then the other back up to the small of the back and bring yourself up. Great way to access that particular posture. Let's take our counter pose. So that might just be a child pose, or you can make a little interlace of the fingers, place the crown of the head into the floor. This might be as far as you go, or you can start to build towards that headstand if that's in your practice. Just taking a couple of seconds there to bring blood back to the skull, back into the mind. And then we're all going to meet back in that downward facing dog. So go ahead and spread the fingers, hook the toes under, send your tailbone to the sky. And go ahead and take a little breath here, maybe take a little shake of the head again. And very slowly again, we're taking that crossing walking action. So thinking about the fascia now. Maybe going a little further across, maybe seeing if you can place the heel and then the toes, so heel, ball, toes, wah, and you feel that lovely kind of sinewy, soft tissue sensations as the toes come to behind the wrists. 2 ideas. You could either still grab the elbows and just come back to that ragdoll, just nod and shake your head and release any tension. If you want to go a touch deeper, slide the palms underneath the feet. Toes are now resting somewhere by the crease of the wrist. Bend your elbows wide and drive the head between the legs, and that's your deeper stretch here. So if that doesn't feel accessible, please just go to that ragdoll. It's a great place to be. Nice. Breath in. Breath out. Maybe you're able to rock that weight further forward. Maybe you feel like you could extend the legs just a fraction more than you did right at the top of the session. Hopefully the practice is starting to ease out. When you're ready, again, the head stays heavy, the hands release if they're underneath the feet or release away from the elbows. Hollow and tone the abdominals. The arms and head stay heavy, and I would really invite you to bend the knees as much as you need to be able to stack lovingly each little pearl, each little vertebra, one on top of the other, slowly coming to standing, taking your time. Little shrug of the shoulders at the top. And again, just walk the feet back to your center and take a moment in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. So we're coming to our standing section. We're just going to take a brief standing section, but we're going to explore our Lord of the Dance. If your balance is feeling off today, or if this is new to you, you can always come to a wall or a chair or something to give you a little support. If you're with me, we're going to start with this left leg. So right hand comes to the waistline, and you bend the left knee, and you're going to catch the inside of your foot. As you draw that heel towards the seat and draw the knees to touch, you'll feel a lovely radiating stretch down the front of the thigh. That's step 1, and if that is enough for you, fine. Just stay right there and see if you can find your balance, which is pretty challenging. If you're coming with me, reaching that right arm forward, maybe taking a little mudra, so that's thumb and forefinger touching, forming a little circle. And as you push the foot into your left hand, so hand and foot are connected, but you're pushing the foot to create this seesaw effect. I really recommend a long, low gaze, finding that drishti point. And also make sure that your knee isn't heading out towards the side, so it's really pointing straight down. And then you start to explore. Beautiful breath. Strong standing leg, rooting through that leg and opening heart center. Gorgeous breath. Last couple of breaths. Nice. And then when you're ready, you gently come out and give it a good shake. So if that felt really unstable, don't worry. simply let that go. We're going to try the second side, and of course, remember you can come to the wall. So this time, left hand is on that waistline, and you can go ahead and flip the palm and see if you can catch the inside of the left foot this time. So it might be that simply squeezing the heel to the seat and drawing the knees towards each other is as much of this as you want to explore today. Little by little, practice by practice, we come to those deeper postures. But it is not a competition, it is definitely your journey. So we're going to go ahead and reach that left arm out now, forefinger and thumb touching, finding that drawing sensation. So you're kind of pushing the right foot this time into the right hand. And that's what starts to lift you. It's not that you forward fold. It's actually a lifting sensation, an opening sensation. Opening chest, opening heart center, finding and rooting through that supporting leg. Remember, the low gaze will really assist your balance always in any practice, in any discipline. Beautiful breach. Can you go a little higher? 2 more breaths. Last breath. And slowly come out. Again, give it a shake. And if that was not your best moment, don't worry. This is a practice about self-love. Come back to it, we will come stronger. Come back to the front of the mat now, and we'll come into some seated stretches and opening postures. So inhale, draw the arms up again, gaze and chest go high. Forward fold, bending the knees, hands come towards the floor. Inhale, come to your fingertips or shins. Exhale, step or jump back to your plank, and then either bending the knees or full chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. From here, taking a breath for a moment, we're going to be swinging the right leg forward. So swing the right leg forward and then bring the knee wide, coming into your pigeon stretch. Now, if you've got that little towel, folded cushion, you could place it underneath your right hip glute. And that's a really great way to assist you into this stretch if it's feeling quite inaccessible. One thing I would also invite you to do is to check behind you and see that the leg is directly behind you and not heading out to the left, which will be the tendency. Some yogis talk or are obsessed with that right angle. I don't think it's as important as you finding that really deep release for the hip. So let's start by taking a lift to the side. So the hands are going to be like a spider. Push down into the floor to lift your chest. And then if you wish to go deeper, interlace the hands behind you, shine the sternum up as you push those hands back and down towards your heel, opening the chest. Gorgeous breath. And from here, as you release, lightly starting to pad forward. Maybe use your towel to support your forehead, or place hand on top of hand and rest, easy, lovingly breathing into that hip. For many of us, we hold a lot of our emotional tension in our hips. You may also be sitting in an office all day or at a desk all day, in which case these joints become tight. So this pigeon is one of the best ways to open that out and release not just physical tension, but in some cases, some of that emotional tension as well. Couple more breaths, everybody. Try again to focus on the breath, to find the stillness. No doubt in your mind there will be a voice saying, oh, I don't want to be here, oh, it's a bit tight, oh, it's a bit difficult. These are negative thoughts that really don't serve us, so if you can stick to that breath or think of breathing in that love and gratitude, often that really helps us in those challenging postures. Slowly padding out now, bringing the hands to shoulder width apart. Activate the back leg, hooking the toes under, bring that right leg back, and then either bending knees or full chaturanga if you wish to. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and it's the left leg coming forward this time. So we're going to sweep that left leg forward, left knee towards left wrist, and again, if you use that cushion the first side, go ahead and place it this time under the left glute. If you don't need it, no need. And then go ahead and check behind you that leg is really in line with the hip, and then the hips are really pointing forward. Again, I would invite you to find that buoyancy by placing the hands beside the hips and just lift a little, opening chest and gaze. If you wish to go deeper, let's take the opposite interlace of the hand, so the one that doesn't feel usual, feels unusual, and then go ahead and press the knuckles back and the gaze and chest high. Gorgeous opening for the heart center, opening the chest, finding that smile. I know it's hiding something. And then when you're ready, slowly padding forward, and it might be just to the forearms. You might even wish to go all the way long again and into that shoulder stretch. Just finding a point where you feel you can sustain an easy, gentle, flowing breath, staying lovingly calm and quiet in this posture. Beautiful breath in, beautiful breath out. Good. Couple more breaths, so really trying to again come back to the breath if you're finding that the monkey mind is jumping around or there's a negative thought that keeps occurring. I can't do this is too hard, it's too deep. Just see if you can still that by finding again, focus on your breath. And from there, when you're ready, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, hooking that right toe under, send the left leg long, and again, you can bend the knees if you wish to, or open chest and gaze, and come to that downward facing dog. Now from here, we're going to step or jump forward into a seated position. It really doesn't have to look like anything. And I would also, again, invite you, if you are very tight through the hips and the hamstrings, to sit on your little towel or riser. It really does give you a little assistance. The other thing that can really help is to bend the knees so that you shift the tailbone under and you really find a long, tall spine. If you don't need it, place that off to one side. So bringing the legs to touch, flexing the feet. We'll find our staff pose. So really pressing the hands right beside the hips, pushing the chest up and wide, and just finding stillness here for a minute before we come into our deep forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So this staff pose, actually more challenging than one would imagine. For many of us with tight hamstrings and hips, you could always do it against a wall. That's a great place to practice. And then ready when you are, draw the arms in, up, and we're going to lengthen forward. Now you might catch your calves, you might catch your ankles, you might be able to take the two-piece fingers around your big toes and then press the top of the thumb onto the top of the toes. Pushing forward here, bending deeply, finding a forward fold, and we're staying here for some breaths. Really flex all the toes back, energize, pushing heels away, feeling the whole back chain of the body, getting a fabulous stretch. Breath in and breath out, nice. See if you can now pull a little deeper on the inhale, and exhale, allow the release of the head. Good. Lengthening that chest bone forward. Imagine you could bring the crown of the head all the way towards the toes. If you're a little higher up, it really helps to keep that gaze on the big toes. And then when you're ready, slowly stacking up. From here, we've got a couple of choices to bring you down to the mat. If you feel like you just need to take this at your own pace, you're going to lovingly place the hands behind the knees and roll each of those beautiful little vertebrae all the way down to the mat and rest there. If you feel like you want a bit more of a challenge, you draw the toes in and really bring the chest up. So use your arms, use the strength in the arms. Now float the shins up so they're parallel with your mat, flexing and just wiggling your toes. Say hello with the toes. Level one, you're just going to stay holding on here for your boat pose, Navasana. If you're coming with me, you might wish to reach the arms forward and with energy, shoulders down the back, lifting the waistline, lifting those abs. Final option, reach the legs long, toes in line with the gaze. So you're holding there. Now from this point, we're coming to Ardha Navasana, which means we're lowering, tucking the pelvis, lowering down and hovering, shoulders and heels just off the mat. Breathing here for 3. Beautiful control. Yes, team. For 2. Last one. Rest all the way down. Beautifully done. So wherever you are, we've landed. Let's bring those feet in now for our shoulder bridge. So you're going to bring the heels all the way in towards you. You can almost brush the heel with your middle finger and then rest in to the mat. From here, we peel the pelvis. So tailbone tucks, lifting the pelvis off the floor, peeling the ribs, coming all the way up towards the tip of the shoulder blade. And I want you to picture a little wet sponge between your knees. Could you hug the sponge and slightly tilt the pelvis? Pressing here, or go ahead and interlace the fingers. Go ahead and press into the little finger bones and lift the hips just a touch higher, pushing into all four corners of your feet so you're not rolling out or in. You're really nicely centered. Gorgeous heart opening, maybe closing the eyes, toning the back body to open the front body, just like you did in your camel pose. Breathe it in, breathe it out. And as you slowly release, slowly roll down through the spine, really lovingly placing each bone, each vertebra back into the mat and lengthening your tailbone. Good. From here, coming into a figure four stretch. So right foot is going to come over left knee, hands slice behind that right thigh, and you pull the whole shape in. Now the aim is not to lift the tailbone, it's actually to connect it back into the floor. And if you are able to bring the legs in a little closer, you're going to use your right elbow to push the right knee out and wide, simultaneously flexing the right foot. Exhale, draw the shape deeper. So very like your pigeon, perhaps for some a little easier, but for most of us just a really much needed stretch. From here we're going to come into a twist for the spine. So lower the left foot to the floor, reach the arms wide with the palms pressing down. And then rotate the whole shape. It stays as is. Just rock it over to the left and maybe rotate your nose towards the right. Lovely breath, lovely twist. Really work to bring the back of the ribs into the floor. And then gently make your way back to center. Go ahead and switch sides. So left foot now over right thigh. Hands dive in and thread behind the thigh. Pulling the whole shape in towards you, but simultaneously resting tailbone long. So you're not tucking and lifting, your head is also comfortably resting. And then go ahead and use that left elbow, really press it wide. Pull the whole shape deeper, getting that great sensation of opening through the hip. Breathing into that sensation, lovingly opening. Good, and from there we rest the right foot down, lightly reaching the arms out wide, pressing the palms down, rotate the whole shape to the right, gazing over to the left. And breathe. As you come back to your center, we're going to take the outside of your feet. So bring the hands to the outside of the feet. Drive the knees down into the armpits. This is your happy baby. And what I love about the happy baby is not just the name, but also the fact that babies actually do it. And I think we lose sight of some of the happy things as we get older. We lose sight of these sort of natural physical movements and shapes. So once you're in your happy baby, you can go ahead and drive one knee down to the floor and the other. And at the same time, you're still trying to lengthen that tailbone. It should feel really lovely on the back of the hips, the back of the pelvis. Great for anyone with any sensitive lower back. This is a really good stretch. And then if anyone wishes to go a little deeper, you can go ahead and catch the heels and send the legs out long, getting that lovely big split. But if that's not available today, don't worry, just go to where you can. And then hug the knees all the way in, wrapping the hands, hug the knees in. And you have two options. You're either going to bring those feet back down, come to constructive rest pose. So knees are resting together. And then those hands, one on belly, one on heart. That's option one. If you want to go to your full Shavasana, reaching one leg out and then the other, I always recommend a little shift to the hips. And then see if you can lengthen back. Everybody close the eyes. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then just letting the breath settle. Letting that smooth, natural breath recover. Feeling perhaps some beautiful energy, prana, kind of present in the body. Feeling that loving kindness that you've shown to your joints, your muscles. Also showing yourself how strong you are, how much you are capable of. Giving gratitude for that. So we've got a little moment here just to release into the mat. As always, with our Shavasana, with our final rest, it's really hard sometimes to clear the mind, and really that's not our aim. We're just trying to ease in. And if you find the mind is busy, well, returning to that breath is really such a great tool. It gives you that power to really center in just moments. If you find yourself short of breath, if you find yourself stressed at any time, that's your superpower. Pranayama, your breath. And if you wish to, the invitation is absolutely to stay here, rest into this Shavasana, enjoy this rest. If you wish to come out now or in a while, your way out is to hug those legs in, draw the knees to the center, hug it all the way in, give yourself a lovely, big, loving hug, and then roll to your side, finding just a moment in that side lying posture. Be comfortable, maybe the eyes can stay closed. And as you pad your way up to a seated posture, make sure it's a comfortable seated posture for you. Whatever that looks like, legs long or legs crossed, maybe sitting on your cushion or towel. And then bringing the hands to heart center, just finding a moment of stillness. Again, appreciating the body, giving gratitude for our bodies, and so much love coming out. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me for this very special self-love practice. I hope that it's formed part of a really beautiful self-love ritual, and I hope it will become part of an ongoing practice for you at home. It's been my pleasure to lead you, and I hope to see you all back on the mat here at Silver Linings at Home very soon indeed.